Hey there, it's Laura here from makingcardsisdone.com and welcome to another card making video tutorial here at my blog and YouTube channel. As the title of this video says, my Instagram followers designed my cards. I simply let you all pick between two stamp sets and between two interactive die cuts. Most people voted for the Yeti or Not stamp set from Lawn Fawn and the Scalloped box card pop-up die kit set from Lawn Fawn to create a really fun interactive card. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm starting out by stamping a lot of stamps from the Yeti or Not stamp set on some Nina Solar White 110 pound heavy cardstock using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm stamping all of these stamps at once using my MISTI stamping platform. I'm also using a Lawn Fawn acrylic block to stamp this little tree twice more. I really love these acrylic blocks from Lawn Fawn because they are nice and thick, they're easy to hold, and they also have a grid printed on the acrylic blocks, which makes it really easy to position your stamps perfectly straight. I'm using Copic sketch markers to color all of my images. For the scarf, I used BG13, BG32, and BG11. For the trees, I'm using YG67, YG17, and YG23. Next, I'm using E27, E57, and E55. And then for the smaller details of the Yeti, I'm using N3 and N1. I also showed you that I was about to use the N2 marker, but I didn't end up using it. I just used N3 and N1. To add some shading on this Yeti, I'm using a BG10 Copic Chow marker. And then for the next scarf, I'm using BV08, BV04, and BV02. I'm also using these colors to color the glasses for my Yeti. And that's about all of the colors that I used for this card. I decided to go with a more of a blue and purple color scheme since I don't really use a lot of purple, but I think it really matches very well with the winter themed card. For my snow cone, I'm using RV14, RV13, and RV11 because of course I had to include some pink on this card since it's my favorite color. Next, it's time to assemble my Scalloped box card pop-up. Well, not really assembling actually, but we're just going to start building all of the pieces that we need to assemble it later on in the video. I die cut the insert die 3 times out of some glitter cardstock from Tonic Studios, and I'm using this curved stitched edge die from Pretty Pink Posh to create a nice snowy hill. I die cut the main piece for the Scalloped box card pop-up twice out of Nina Solar White 80 pound cardstock. I'm just folding along the scored lines and I'm using my bone folder to do so. I'm folding all of the flaps except the largest one. So in total you'll have 2 smaller flaps and 2 larger flaps, and I left one of the large flaps unfolded because you want that to stand up straight since it's the back of your Scalloped box card pop-up. Now that I've folded along the score lines, I'm using some really thin double-sided adhesive tape to make sure that I'll be able to adhere it later on. So I'm just applying the tape to the edges of my Scalloped box, and then I am lining that up, and then it will form one big piece. So there you go. Just burnishing that to make sure it's nice and sticky and that it won't go anywhere. I'm also applying some double-sided adhesive on the flaps of my little inserts over here, and then it's time for the fun part, which is to decorate these little inserts. I'm using foam squares to adhere the scarf and all of the other little details on my Yetis. I'm also going to apply some sparkle using a clear Wink of Stella glitter marker. This is not the brush pen, this is a marker with a really fine tip. And this is my new favorite sparkly glitter marker out there because it just adds the most or the largest amount of sparkle to your projects. I'm also using Tonic Nuvo Crystal Glaze to add a little bit of dimension here and there, and I made sure to let this dry overnight before adhering it to my card. I'm also using some foam adhesive to adhere the small little trees on the insert that will go on the back of my scallop box card pop-up. And I'm also going in with that sparkle pen to add the glitter. Just showing you once again because, I mean, look at that sparkle. It's just really amazing. And I haven't really found the sparkle pen that gives this amount of glitter. I'm using an ancient paper pad from Fawn. This is the Let's Bokeh in the Snow paper pad. It's from 2015. I actually have some even older paper pads out here. I have one from 2013, which is the Into the Woods paper pad. So I wanted to decorate the edges of my scallop box card pop-ups. So I'm just going to do some partial die cutting to do so. I adhered my piece of pattern paper to my cutting plate, and then I positioned my die on the edge of my cutting plate. I used some washi tape to hold that down, and then I ran that through my die cutting machine. Just going to trim down this piece a little bit. You have to cut it on the score line over there using your paper trimmer. And then I'm going to prep some vellum using kitchen flour to remove any static cling. You don't have to use kitchen flour. You can also use baby powder or a special tool to remove the static cling on paper. I'm stamping these snowflakes from the Yeti or Not stamp set from Fawn using VersaMark ink on my Bazzill vellum paper. Sprinkling on my favorite Wow embossing powder. This is the opaque bright white embossing powder, and then I am melting that, or I am using my heat tool to melt that powder. As you can see, the kitchen flour really made sure that I am left with a really clean embossed look. So you don't have any speckles from your embossing powder. It's just a really clean look. I die cut some more pieces from the scallop box card pop-up to decorate the edges, and then I am adhering those using my ADG from Scotch. I'm also adhering some more vellum, and then I am using this new to me silicone foam tape. So this is clear foam tape, which makes it really easy to adhere pieces that are see-through like vellum. So you won't be able to see the foam adhesive underneath, which is really awesome. You just have to cut this to the size you want it to be, then you remove the red liner paper, and then you can go ahead and just stick it on your cardstock like you would normally do with a regular foam tape. And as you can see, you really can't see anything off this foam tape, so it's just totally clear, which I think is really awesome and really clever. For my sentiment banner, I used the fancy wavy banner die cut set from Fawn. I die cut that once out of white cardstock, and then I used another one of these dies to die cut a banner using pattern paper. Going to heat emboss a sentiment from the Winter Wavy Saying stamp set from Fawn using VersaMark ink, and of course, Wow opaque bright white embossing powder. Using my heat tool to heat set that embossing powder, and then I'm just going to adhere that piece to my white banner using foam adhesive. I just love to create these scallop box card pop-up dies or any interactive cards because you get to be really creative with pattern paper. I don't really use a lot of pattern paper except for my interactive cards because they just have a lot of edges and empty spaces to decorate. I'm decorating all of the edges using pattern paper, and I'm adhering them using my ATG from Scotch. As you can see, I left one of the pieces white because that's where I will be writing my message. So I let these Yetis dry overnight because I used the crystal glaze, And then now I am just adhering them to my sparkly snowy hills using foam adhesive and Tonic Studios deluxe adhesive. To adhere the inserts inside the box, I'm just going to line up each corner with the scored line over there. So you just want to line all of that up, and you can even use the other inserts to line up the ones that you'll be adhering after you adhere to the first one. So as you can see, you can just line all of that up perfectly straight, and this makes it really easy and fast to make this interactive card. So I'm adhering all of my 3 little hill inserts. I burnished that double-sided adhesive using my bone folder. Then I am removing all of these backer sheets, and then I'm just going to close that up and align everything up to make sure it's nice and straight. So take your time to do this because you only get one shot. So there you go. Now it's just time to finish off this box. So I'm adhering all of my decorated panels to the edges of my Scalloped box card pop-up card using my Scotch ATG. I also decided to stamp another sentiment from the Yeti or Not stamp set from Fawn. I'm just stamping one of these greetings using Memento Tuxedo Black ink on Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I trimmed that down to a nice sentiment banner, and then I am adhering it to the vellum using foam tape. I also went ahead and die cut some hearts from the Scalloped box card pop-up die cut set, and I'm also going to adhere some more of these snowflakes on one of the panels using the silicone clear foam tape. To finish this project up, I am going back in with my Zic Clear Wink of Stella glitter marker. And there you go. So that finishes up my card. Thank you so much for voting on my Instagram poll because you helped me design this card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.